day, everyone. I'm Matt Harrison, and you're listening to the Geary Cast, the Malaga fan podcast for all the Gearys out there. An eventful game in Granada saw Malaga come away from Los Carmenes with a 2-2 draw and another away point in the bag. Malaga came from behind twice, and San Alfonso Herrero pulled off another piece of penalty heroics at the very end to ensure we didn't lose the game. A good game played in front of a convivial atmosphere as the burgeoning Malaga-Granada bromance continues. And speaking of bromances, I'm joined by one of my favourite Geary Cast bros, my Geary Cast co-host bro, Luke Chambers. How are you, Luke?
I'm very well, bro. A little bit down in the dumps, maybe, is all it does here these days is rain. The dark nights are well and truly on the way in. However, the positivity of knowing that in 5 days I will be down the Costa del Sol is keeping us going. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. Hello. I'm back into the swing of school now, so you might hear in my voice I've got snotty and germs and stuff, which happens to teachers in the first weeks back because mingle with all those germ-ridden teenagers. But otherwise all good. Very quiet weekend. Staying in Marbella. Watching lots of football on TV for a change rather than going to the stadiums, which was actually quite nice. But yeah, we will obviously talk about Malaga-Granada or Granada-Malaga, a very entertaining game to say the least. Plenty of talking points, especially in the second half of the game. But first we'll go to what's been happening around Segunda, because we don't really have that much real Malaga news. So we'll find out what happened elsewhere first, Luke. So I think you have the rest of the Segunda results for us.
I certainly do. So on Saturday, we have Racing de Ferrol 1, Albacete 4, a great result for them. Eldense, they drew 1-1 with Real Oviedo. Deportivo, again, lost at home this time to Burgos 2-0. Real Zaragoza beat Levante 2-1. Tenerife got a point, the first point in the Pepe Mel, which was a 1-1 draw with Sporting Gijón. Castellón lost 1-0 at home to Racing de Santander, who continued their unbeaten run. Cartagena lost 2-1 at home to Cadiz. Elche, our next opponents, beat Mirandes 1-0. Almeria and Eibar drew 2-2. Eibar only having 10 men. And the final game of the weekend, currently, no, not yet, in a bit, Huesca are at home to Córdoba.
Lovely stuff. Any sort of, standouts there or headlines you want to raise?
Probably the only headline I would say in terms of importance was Racing's 1-0 win away at Castellón. We know that Castellón's not an easy place to go to at all. And Racing de Santander look a real unit this season. I mean, they've already played Almeria, Eibar and Sporting Gijón at home, avoided defeating all of them. They played 3 games away and won all of them against Oviedo, Tenerife and now Castellón. And again, these are not easy places to go to. Yeah, and
you say they're relevant for us because, of course, we are looking towards the top places as well at the moment. I'm joking. I'm not getting captured yet.
I think, Matt, we are now down to 3 unbeaten records. Ourselves, Racing de Santander, and to be fair, we might be the only 2 now after this weekend's results. Zaragoza? No, Zaragoza's got beat. Oh, Eibar, sorry. Malaga, Eibar, and Racing are the only unbeaten teams.
Invictus. It's the only, not really the result, but Zaragoza are doing well and they beat Levante 2-1. But I was just more happy to see the goal scorer for Levante was Jose Luis Morales, who's gone back to Levante and has one of my favorite nicknames in Spanish football, El Comandante, the commander. I think last time, he was at Levante, where he's a bit of I think he's their top goal scorer, either in their history or maybe in La Liga, but I think it might be their history. I'm sure he got really close to the Spain squad in his early 30s. He was just banging in goals at one point. But
yeah, I think this is a tricky winger, wasn't he? More in his latter time. I think he actually plays centre forward for him these days.
Yeah, he's not like your typical winger. He's a bit
showbiz.
No, but he's a bit of a unit. He's quite stocky and he's a commander. I think he scored 2 goals for Levante this year, but I meant to flag him up on a previous one. And it's just fun. I really liked him and I liked his celebration and stuff. So, so we'll we thought we'd give a bit of a run around of what's going on around us before we come back to Malaga. We will go back to Malaga now, but not the football side. Let's go to the other side of the city very, very briefly and wish a big congratulations to our basketball cousins, Unicaja, who won the Spanish Super Cup, beating Real Madrid, who I believe won, I think it was either the last 5 or 6 Spanish Super Cups, or certainly they've won a lot, so no easy feat that. So well done to Unicaja. They've never won the Spanish Super Cup before. Yeah, it's great having, sitting in the last few years, there's been a load of success around Unicaja, and it's sort of made Malaga's football team look a little bit more silly and pathetic. But, there's a feel-good factor around both sides of town at the moment, Luke.
Oh, what they are doing between themselves and the football for the city is unbelievable. The feeling you can tell just based on looking at socials. But a lot of the Malaga fans aren't just football fans like you say, Matt. They are very much Unicaja fans as well. Again, the last 2 or 3 years, what they've done in basketball is huge for. They're not NBA giants or anything, but they just seem to be winning trophy after trophy.
Yeah, and I think we've said before, it's definitely, if you can double up and go to a Unicaja game, I've still only been to one. I've definitely got to go to more. I highly recommend it. It's great fun. Although I really want to know, so the game, I think in basketball terms, it's quite a good result, isn't it? They've won 80-90, and apparently they were really, really good. But Real Madrid caught up, and then the Unicaja fans were apparently chanting, and I don't really know how you would chant this, like repeatedly. They were chanting, "Manos arriba, esto es un atraco," which means hands up, this is a robbery.
So what it was, or what I can only guess is, I saw 3 videos of basic fouls in basketball. Real Madrid players foot was out of play, which if the foot touches the line, it's a turnover. Yes. A lot of shirt pulling, which you get in basketball, but there were 1 or 2 spectacle decisions, just like there is for Real Madrid in La Liga currently, which is obviously taking a lot of press. So maybe it were that.
Yeah, maybe. I just like them shouting, "Hands up, this is a robbery," which is also a line from Pulp Fiction. I think that's from.
Interesting we say about Unicaja, Matt. Friend of the podcast, Christian Markowski, he very kindly sent me a link because me and Laura are over for Christmas this year. We're spending Christmas along the Costa del Sol, and really, really wanted to get to a Unicaja game. And Christian's kindly sent a link for tickets. So I think this is like 3 days after Christmas Day. So I think we are I dare say we're going to break our duck for Unicaja, because I love basketball. I've always liked basketball, but more on the NBA side.
Yeah, well, I think I'm spending Christmas in the Costa del Sol at the moment. I don't have any plans, so
there we go.
As well, but I don't know. Basketball doesn't feel very festive to me for some reason, but why not? It feels like a summer sport. I don't know why. I haven't really thought about that. Anyway, let's go back to the football side of town, which actually is sort of not the football side of town, because Atletico Malagueño are actually really close to the basketball side of town now. We're talking about geography. But anyway, enough of the geography of it all. What's been going on with our other teams, Luke?
I can tell you one thing, what is happening at Atletico Malagueño. They have started very, very well. They made it 3 wins from 3 games when beating Hueto Vega 1-0 in Las Vinas. So, like I said a minute ago, they played 3, won 3. This was the end of Chupete's hat-trick run, very much like Haaland. But as we'll speak about, we finally got to see him in a Malaga shirt. On the other side, we had Malaga Femenino. Unfortunately, they was absolutely hammered 3-0 away at Tenerife Bay. So I don't actually know what kind of level of football that is, Matt, but when you think about it, Femenino's played 2 away games so far this season, Lanzarote and Tenerife. Seems a hell of a lot of travelling for that level of football.
Sounds like a good holiday.
It does.
Yeah. It was really weird. I was sort of caught off guard then, because as soon as I've got something on Movie Star, some like highlight show on in the background, and as soon as you said Haaland, he appeared on my screen scoring. It was very weird. Showing highlights of the City Arsenal game yesterday. It was just very strange. As soon as he said Haaland, he came on the screen. So yeah, there are our other 2 teams. Oh, we should give a shout out as well to our Dutch pals who you guys brought up a couple of weeks ago. forgive me, Melisont. I can't remember how to say it, but they drew 1-1. They scored a late goal. I saw the message they sent Chris. They said there was chaos or madness when they scored an equaliser quite late. So well done to them on getting a point too. I don't know if that's a good point or not. But yes, we'll keep an eye on them throughout the season. But they drew, as did Malaga Club de Football away at Granada. So let's go into talking about that game. First of all, I'm going to give a bit of a shout out because for the first time in over a year, I did watch the game in the Peña Club Deportivo Malaga de Marbella, the bar in sort of a back alley of Marbella. It's basically the Marbella Peña, which I think the official name still does have the old name of Malaga because it's a very old Peña. Brilliant night. It was really good fun. Since I was last there, Diego, who now runs the Peña, he seems to have ramped up the numbers. It was pretty full in there. It was really good. And I was a bit worried because I hadn't been there for a year. People might be like, what are you doing here? Can you go away? But it was very much the opposite. Even Lazaro, the bar owner, he walked over to me. He grabbed my cheek and he was like, he said, has criado, like has creciado. You've grown. And he said, and then he's like, "Tienes una barba." He's like, "You've got a beard." And I was like, "Oh," it's like you're like uncle, sort of. "Oh, nice to see you. You're a big boy now."
I'm surprised they let you out of the room, Matt, by the sounds of this.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good, and it was everyone was, and we enjoyed the game because it was a very, very entertaining game of football. I thought, even though we only got a point. Let's talk about. I guess let's perhaps mention again, it's compulsory. Hey, Malaga fans are good, aren't they? They travelled well again, didn't they, Luke?
Malaga fans are unbelievable. And we say this nearly every week, but based on the game, obviously you was with your Peña, Matt, so I don't know how much of it you heard, but the voices, what you could hear with the Malaga fans singing the Una Gitana Loca and a couple of other songs, obviously. But great crowd. I dare say if Granada would have given us the 5,000 they gave us last year, we would have filled every one of them.
Yeah, and actually, fair play to the Granada fans. They pretty much said the same thing. I know they were a bit sort of down on their manager and how they've been playing recently, but they on social media it seemed to be they were praising our fans more than bigging up themselves. And obviously, as I referenced in the intro, there is that sort of bromance we have going with them, and it was nice to see. All the photos and the people hanging out in blue and white and red and white. And it's a nice relationship. And, it's looking, if you'd asked me at the start of the season, who would be in what position, I would have said we'd be the other way round. But hopefully we can both go up together and carry it on. But and actually I thought it was really nice in the pre-match press conference. I think Sergio Pellicer was very complimentary about Granada, especially because they let us play the B team game in their stadium last year and sort of let our fans have a bit of a party there. He spoke very well about Granada, I thought, as well.
Right, so Matt, I mean, obviously you were in Granada last year, wasn't you? But just looking back at the videos and the pictures from that, I mean, they are some of the finest videos I've seen celebrating victory, and that may have been the time what kickstarted our season again towards promotion.
It was crazy. It's again, like when I saw some of the videos, it did make me go back through my own little archive of footage, and I was like, oh yeah, that game, like it's sort of, I couldn't really tell you anything about that game that day.
Really shit game. Really shit game.
We only scored like a header where he headed it down into the floor and it went up. But the day was the event rather than the football that day. Pellicer, obviously full of praise for Granada. He's obviously had time to mull over his starting 11 over the week, and his thoughts were he was going to stick with what we had the week before, Luke. So were you happy with that?
I am going to sound very, very boring here, but yeah, I wouldn't have changed a thing. So 0 complaints on me.
Yeah, there was. I was even trying to think, was there any obvious changes or even semi-obvious changes? But there wasn't. I suppose we could have said Aaron Ochoa Maloney. He's still young. Maybe give him a break. But Pellicer says going to manage him well. But if he's playing well, he's going to start, I think. So he did. And yeah, I know you were doing the minute by minute stuff. What did you make in general of Malaga's first half performance? Because I suppose there's no real sort of highlights, or not many highlights, for us to sort of latch on to here. So what did you make of the general play?
Yeah, strange, because like you say, Matt, there wasn't too many highlights. But for me, I thought this were a really great half from us. Defensively, we were a joy to watch, minus the odd mistake on the 43rd minute or something, a little hiccup. But through the first half, I thought we were very structured. Einar, specifically, he was an absolute beast early on from any kind of cross what came in. We really limited Granada to just scraps. Attacking-wise, we broke at pace, which were, again, very, very good to see, because that is maybe a criticism of ours from time to time. We do structure and attack very slowly. But, yeah, I thought first half were a great half from us.
Yeah, sorry to go all football cliches here, but can the defensive play be a joy to watch? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to watch too many games where the defense is on top. But if it's our own, then I'll definitely take this one.
Yeah, I merely jest. Yeah, I think like you said, I thought we were great. I can't remember the exact phrase you used on minute.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. And I said, I don't know if I can go with fantastic, not just because I didn't think we created enough for that. But yeah, like, I think we were looking forward all the time. It wasn't sort of, there was purpose there, but we just could, it's been our story of last year and, well, for years, really, isn't it? We sort of do like that killer pass a little bit. Obviously, Aaron Ochoa Maloney played in that nice pass to Antonito, who got a shot off and a fairly good save. They had a shot as well, didn't they? Where that guy down the number 11, whose name I've forgotten. I can't remember his name. But
let me find it.
He did that like little shimmy in the box, didn't he? Which was quite simple, but really did seem to take our defense out. And
I think that was more of a defensive hiccup than anything. We sent to stand off him so much. But interesting that you're saying, Matt, obviously regarding Aaron Ochoa Maloney. I think you're about 35 minutes in, I put on the text, how the hell is Antonito and Aaron Ochoa Maloney 17 years old? Because they are currently playing with so much maturity. Again, like you said at the beginning, Matt, yeah, you may be looking at taking a 17-year-old out just to keep him under wraps, look after him, but he's maturing so quickly in the centre midfield. Some people may say he's not doing anything too specific or anything, but he's starting our attacks so well.
Yeah, he's just neat and tidy, isn't he? Still think he needs a bit more.
Needs to beef up.
But
Matt, are you trying to trick me with this? Who's this number 11? Georgia City Ashvili or something?
Oh, yeah.
I was expecting like Juan Pedro or something like that.
No. Yeah, he was quite good, the Georgian fella, actually, for them, I thought. Or one of the better ones, at least. I did. Like they're the hipsters of European football at the moment, Georgians, aren't they? Everybody wants a Georgian.
Just whilst I've got the Granada team on, I know this isn't on the agenda, but you just seen the team again now. Like, did you see anything of Renier, the ex-wonder kid Real Madrid? Because I can't really remember him do anything.
I did, but I mean, like every time he got the ball, I was like, okay, let's see what he can do. And yeah, he didn't really.
No,
he was not
strange on that.
Yeah, I was interested in him because The Athletic did a really big article on him about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was very interesting. And he seems, well, he was the one I flagged up in the preview show as just what I thought he was going to be really good. But I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm intrigued. He's the guy I think I'd want to be really good for Granada if they're not playing Malaga, and just to be this fun Brazilian wonder kid, or wonder kid that's not quite got there, just having a laugh in Segunda. But
yeah, on his way through.
Yeah, it's not to be. But yeah, Pellicer pretty much said the same thing we said about the first half. He thought we were impressive, but I think the term he used was we lack efficiency further up the pitch, which I suppose is fair enough. But yeah, much the better team. Granada looked a bit all over the shop, as they have for a lot of this season, from what I gather. And obviously, we had Aidan on the show last week, the Granada fan, who confirmed they are a bit ropey, to say the least, at the moment. But they did sucker punch us, Luke. They did get us in that sort of. They had like a mad 5 minutes, didn't they, where they just became turbocharged all of a sudden. And because our defense had been sort of so steady and had so little to deal with, it caught us off guard, basically, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. It were quite lazy. We reverted back to an old Malaga. By that I mean, how many times last season did we say we started very slowly? It was as if we were still in the dressing room. Opposite to the praise I've just gave the defence for the first half performance. But yeah, I think Granada had five minutes worth of pressure, and Malaga just really couldn't deal with it. They could have had maybe 3 in that time.
Yeah, but it was really weird because it wasn't like, forgive me, I can't remember what minute they scored in. What have you got it?
Yeah, they scored in the 55th minute, and to be fair, before that we came out and we could have scored 2 before.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's not like they came out at half time and just came at us, and because I remember thinking, oh, this looks like it's going to be the same as the first half. But yeah, I don't know, maybe around the 52nd minute, they suddenly went, hang on, let's just have a bit of a go at us. And we looked up, they were like a whirlwind. They were brilliant for 3 or 4 minutes.
On my notes, I've got 50th minute 2 shots from Granada, so I'm guessing that's where the pressure started.
Yeah.
We just could not get out for 5 minutes.
And then obviously the goal itself, at the time I thought it was very good. I watched it back this morning. It's a hell of a finish.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't knock the finish at all. It's a great volley, but defensively, I think we were poor. I thought Danny Sanchez allowed the original cross far too easy from that side. Then Carlos Neva, he sent to have acres. He could have done what he wanted. Maybe didn't even have to hit it first time, if anything.
No, that's what was more impressive. He was very open, but he sort of just opened his body up and slammed it inside footed as well. It was it was a great goal, I thought. But it put Granada in the lead, but not for too long, because our boy wonder, Antonito, was back on the scene. He scored the equaliser, his 3rd goal of the season. Are we calling it a good goal, Luke, or are we saying he was a bit fortunate?
It looks a bit of a case of popping on wrists from the goalkeeper. It's a phrase what I've always lived by. By that, I mean the ball went straight through his hands pretty much. But the main thing, this shows, like, this is the main thing I love about Antonito. He isn't scared to pull the trigger from anywhere on the pitch. It's not really a player what Malaga has. I mean, there's not too many players what like to hit the ball, but it's as if people aren't allowed to shoot these days in football. But he took the snapshot, and there we go, 1-1. A great reaction from Malaga.
There's and you know what poppadoms go with? They go with spicy curry, and Antonito's playing some spicy football at the moment. He was brilliant. And actually, we were talking about Pellicer's perhaps a good guy for these young players. He was glowing in his praise of Antonito after the game. I think I've got it written here. He said, he is in excellent form, but he's 17 years old and has a long career. This is what we are here for, to get his feet back on the ground. I told him after the game that we have to continue working with the same humility on a daily basis, and we have to know how to control the spotlights, or the external spotlights. He already appeared last year, and the same this year. The most important thing, that he is speaking on the pitch. And fair to say, he is very much speaking on the pitch right now. He looks excellent. And
like you say, Matt, that to me, that's perfect management. That is how it should be said. Do you think the Barcelona thing came at a perfect time for Antonito? Because if you think about it, since that link or the fall through, is he our main player at the moment?
I think there's an argument to say he is. Yeah, I think he's been our best player of the season so far. Yeah. I'd go with that, definitely. Yeah, he is. Like, I can't see, like, obviously Lobete came back into play in this game. He came off the bench. Obviously, we got Kevin coming back, but then you go, like, you can't really drop Antonito at the moment, can you? So I mean,
you see maybe even on stats regarding the league, he's the most creative player in the league. He's 3 goals, 3 assists. And then you look at, I know you're a huge fan of Kevin, obviously. I like Kevin. When you look at the stats, Antonito's done this in 6 games at a higher level. Kevin didn't do too many more assists or goals in Primera.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think if if anybody's targeting or the wingers are targeting getting back into the team, it's perhaps on the other wing. You might look to dislodge Ramani, who I don't think has done too much wrong, but I still think he's got a bit to do to really claim that other wing position at the moment. But Antonito got us the goal, and we looked like we were swinging back into control until Granada scored again. Another sort of cross into the box from the other side this time, and then another, hit back across goal. Quite slapstick in the end with the finish, where I can't remember who it was on the line, kicked it into the Uzani's face. And was it Juan?
Carbon copy of the first one for me, mate, in terms of our fullbacks. Far too easy, the delivery in. And then it was as if Danny Sanchez just switched off on the back stick. Again, like you've just said, Juanpe were very, very unlucky to with his block, what just fell straight to Uzani. Really, really shitty goal to concede, and even a shitty goal to score.
And again, it was at a time where, we did look more like we were going for the win. Their fans were sort of, they'd been 1-0 up and blown in. There was a bit sort of
doing, basically. Like Aidan said last week, that it's a bit of a cauldron when things aren't going correctly for Granada.
And there probably was a little bit of the fan base by then. They were thinking, let's just take this loss and try and get rid of the manager, who perhaps we'll mention at the end what happened there. So we went 2-1. Again, we were pushing on. We should perhaps mention here, you sort of touched upon it earlier, we did get to see Chupete come on for Malaga to make his senior debut. Did you notice any signs of the player that scored 2 hat-tricks in a row for our B team?
Not really. I don't think he had any ball. Didn't really get any service or anything. But I did like how Pellicer did turn to him. I would have liked to have seen it maybe 5 minutes earlier, just to give him a chance of getting into the game. But I don't think any Malaga fans will be looking at him and thinking, "Oh, you're not ready." It's just a case of didn't get the ball.
Yeah, and I suppose, and again, I've touched upon it already, that the other good bit of news, I guess, was Lobete coming back on, who, when we did the podcast a few weeks ago, we were talking about we might not see him till December or possibly the second half of the season after the winter break. But he's defied his initial prognosis, and he was out there again. So good to see him back on the pitch again. I don't really think he had too much.
No, he got booked basically straight away for descent, and this were a really sticky 5 minutes for Malaga, because they'd just gone 2-1 down. I think we quickly received 3 yellow cards for dissent, and you just couldn't see Malaga getting out of it at this point.
Yes, but this Malaga team under Pellicer, they do keep fighting to the end, as we very much know. On a few occasions last year, we pulled off some heroics, particularly right at the end, which, we've done that to death, but it's always nice to bring it up. And we've done it this season already. Nelson Monte with a late equaliser, his first ever goal in senior football, which amazed me, because how old is he? 26, 27?
Yeah.
He's, usually, I know he is a centre-back, obviously, but, they usually get a couple of goals from headers, and he's been up in the box, for corners for us, so I just assumed he would have had one, but it was great. And again, we should mention Antonito, what a corner.
I think his delivery all night, Matt. Every corner looked dangerous.
Yeah. Did you know what? It was very similar. We just mentioned it. It was quite similar to the Gabriel goal against Man City yesterday.
Yeah,
Just sort of back post and just slamming into it, not really trying to direct it, just sticking your head on it and hitting it hard.
Just you said, just pure elation. My dogs ran out of the room in fear because I was bouncing and screaming and shouting the roof down, obviously. But if you, like you've just said regarding the goal, the run from Nelson Monte, like a perfect run. It wasn't the header, but I'm not too sure which Malaga player it was. But somebody on the back post who very nearly got in Monte's way. I think it might have been Lobete. Well, that could have been a disaster. But you just surprised me then, Matt, when you mentioned about Monte's first goal. But now I'm looking back to it, it was Einar who scored last year against Granada Bay at home, I think it was.
Yeah.
Nelson Monte loves the celebration. I think that's what I remember. And again, here, just magic. Great scenes. Like you said, Matt, we are very fortunate as Malaga fans to see these kind of occurrences in the 90, 9300th minute and so on quite regular.
Yeah. Yeah, the Einar goal, if I remember, was the Atleti B game where he scored.
Sorry, yes, it was. Yeah,
and yeah, you're right there. That was the image of, I think, Monte called himself a true hooligan, I think was the phrase he used in the after. And they did. He's been interviewed today, and he did sort of say he didn't really know how to celebrate a goal, so he just went mad, which
we all do that every time.
Yeah, and obviously, the madness got to him because he gave a penalty away in the 95th, 96th minute. Obviously, it was a bit of time to take it. Was this a penalty, do you think?
I mean, we've got VAR these days, so I guess it was right. But me personally, I didn't think it was a foul at all. I thought it was very, very weak. I had to watch on the replay 2 or 3 times to actually even see what the foul was. I'm guessing I think it was pulling.
Yeah, it was. It's. I think you've summed it up basically. I thought it was a bit soft, but in this VAR world, they're going to be given, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, so I wasn't too surprised when it was given. When it went to VAR to be checked, I thought, no, I think he's going to stick with it. But who cares? Because we've got again. I switched from Don to San earlier because that seems to be what the local press are using a lot more these days. San Alfonso Herrero was there to save the day once again. I know there was some controversy amongst Granada fans, and forgive me, the Geary guy that's not Aiden posted a video of him shouting. The Charlton guy shouting at one of the Granada players, why didn't he take the penalty? Because Weissman took the ball off him and he wasn't supposed to or something. But yeah, I don't know, because for me personally, I think this is a good penalty save because obviously all penalty saves are good. Yeah. But I think at the last second, Herrero just keeps his eye on it and notices he's going down the middle because he stops diving, doesn't he? And he sticks his leg out intentionally. Like obviously the one last time, the sort of failed Panenka for Albacete, he did have a bit more time to get back up and save it. Yeah. I think he reads this one.
I think you've just said it perfectly, Matt. Any penalty save is a good penalty save, no matter what. It's body language, it's guessing games, it's everything. But you can see Alfonso does realise what he's doing, and he does drag a leg out a bit. Yeah. I really, really felt for my dogs in Cassidy Chambers at this point because Jesus Christ, they'd just recovered from Monte's goal. And then when he saves this, the fucking house came down again. But yeah, I thought it was a decent enough penalty. It's one of those technical penalties players seem to like to take these days, straight down the middle.
Yeah, it was probably the only thing that perhaps let him down is he put up a nice height to be volleyed away. But now that was pretty much it, wasn't it? That was ball got out of there, whistle blew, everybody swarms on San Alfonso Herrero, and yeah, he's the hero again, as he has been many times before. And I'm sure.
Sorry to interrupt. It's just whilst you're still on this little bit, but did you feel confident that he were going to save this? Because I don't want to sound all magical and all that lot, but I felt very confident that you were going to save this.
Me too, to be honest with you. And actually, like when it put the camera on Weissman, just the way he was looking, I thought, it's Alfonso
Herrero. One of them things in football, isn't it? It's just one of them things what you just seem to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and like I think I saw the cartoon La Bombonera did with the sort of saints.
Yeah.
It's he saved 2 already now. So he's got to be feeling confident with these penalty saves, even if people are going to say, oh, they weren't great penalties he saved, but hopefully it generates more penalty saves, or even better, let's just not give penalties away. That would be nice. So would you say this was a good point in the end, or like obviously we've both mentioned that we thought we were probably the better team and played well, but a good point?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, personally. We've gone away in an Andalus derby. We've dug deep. We've extended that fantastic unbeaten run. Again, I've said it a few times this season, but we would have lost that game a couple of seasons ago. The players showed real heart to actually get back into it. Yeah, we had chances to win in that first half, but I think I said it to Christian Markowski. If somebody offered me a point before the game, I would have shook your hand and walked away with it.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, we remain undefeated. I believe as well, I don't know if this is ever, or I'm guessing so, that apparently I think we've played at Los Coromenes 11 times and only won there once, or certainly we've won there in the last 11. Maybe, I don't know if I've misread the stat or something, but the only time we've won there is 2016, 2017, 2-0 win when in the top league. So, it's not an easy place we go to and do well historically. And as I keep saying, you draw your away games, try and take wins in the home games, and
especially in this division. Every away point's vital in this division.
Yeah, and actually on points, I'm pretty sure you would have seen this already, but I thought I'd throw it in there. David Picon's stat about points. Did you see this?
Maybe enlighten me.
Okay, so after 6 games, we have 10 points, which obviously is pretty good going. We're 6th in the league. Last time we were in the Segunda, which is obviously 2 years ago, 2022, 2023, it took us 16 games to get 10 points, so 10 games more. So there's a comparison.
If you remember that season, Matt, we already felt like we were down after 10 games, didn't we? Effectively, nothing were going right or anything.
If I remember as well, I'm trying to work out 16 games. I think we might have only won one of those.
Yeah,
we beat Melendez, I think, and we were hopeless at home. So I don't remember. We might have won 2 maybe in the first 16 games. But yeah,
I dare say that we may have just been swapping over to Pepe Mel about after 16 games. What we're talking Christmas time?
No, I think Pepe Mel. I think David Picon put in the tweet. I think he'd been in charge for about 8 games then, or 9 or 8. I can't remember. So. Because I forgot how short-lived Guede was actually.
Yeah, very short. Yeah,
I don't think he made it out of September, if I remember rightly. But yeah, that is what was then, and this is now, and we're doing very, very well now. So let's go to our Chumbo and Biznaga. I think we're gonna have the same Chumbo, judging by comments you've made. So let's get the negative one out of the way. Who is your Chumbo, Luke?
It's Dani Sanchez this week. I don't really know if I'm trusting him enough defensively at this point, as the second half proved. But it was a tough one. I thought it was a good team performance. But yeah, for me, it's Dani Sanchez.
Yeah, he's mine too. And actually, the one that was close was him or Puga. Actually, I thought they were
exactly the same.
Weak parts of our defense, because I thought the 2 in the middle, apart from the penalty Monte giveaway, were pretty spot on. Actually. Yeah, like I said, I don't think either Puga or Dani Sanchez were particularly awful, but for the goals, I guess they're the ones that let us down. Biznaga, this is perhaps a little trickier, but I don't know. I'll go to you first. Who is your Biznaga?
So Einar Galilea had it won in the first half. I thought he had a fantastic first half. I'm going to take it away from him purely for the second half. I feel as a defender, to concede 2, you shouldn't be getting them, say, man of the match kind of thing. Honourable mention for Aaron Ochoa Maloney. I thought he was great again. Luis Me, what a signing. We called it from the start. What a great signing he's going to be.
Yeah, we've not mentioned him, actually. Yeah, he's definitely worth a mention.
What a player. And then the tricky part, but I'm going to go with an honourable mention for Son, Alfonso Herrero. He obviously effectively won us our point. Fantastic save. He made 2 or 3 great saves in the half as well. But for me, Antonito just changes the way we play. He offers such an attacking threat. And again, like I mentioned, the shooting finesse. I'm not being funny. He's 17. He's taking corners. He's taking free kicks. He's taking penalties. They're putting a lot into him, and I dare say he's repaying us.
Yeah, he's mine as well. I just thought he was the difference maker in this game. Obviously, like you said, Herrero got us the points in the end and was, I guess, the hero of the day at the end. But during the 90 minutes, yeah, the only one I would have put close to him was Aaron. Actually, I thought Aaron Ochoa Maloney was great fun to watch. I think he's been brilliant the last 2 games. He would have been, I think I put him as my Biznaga the week before when I wasn't on the show. I think I said in the Vamos episode. But yeah, Antonito, just, spectacular. He's brilliant. We'll see what happens in the January transfer window with him. I think.
That's the interesting part. If we've got 2 17-year-old ballers, I think we call them these days, come to January, there's going to be a couple of teams sniffing, especially with Aaron Ochoa Maloney's Irish links. Surely there's got to be a bit of interest from the UK at some point, unfortunately.
Well, that'd be interesting. I've never really thought of that, but yeah.
I hope not. I really hope. I really hope that we are talking about Aaron Ochoa Maloney and Antonito and Isa Moreno and Cespedes. These are our players, and I would love to see a full Malaga youth team in there.
Yeah, and I can see why the bright lights of Barcelona might appeal to Antonito and things like that. But if, like obviously Antonito's dad's come out and spoken about him not going to Saudi Arabia because supposedly a Saudi Arabian club came in for him, or I couldn't really follow if he was just.
It was just some link. Did you read the story on that regarding the Barcelona with Antonito? So well, this particular article what I read, Barcelona wanted to replace a player in Barcelona Bay. So Antonito was actually going to be playing in Barcelona Bay, which don't surprise anybody. But then because this fell through, they straight away went and signed another player to replace the play. So it's like, how much did they actually want him? Or was it just a matter of, well, he's played a few games, let's chuck him in our B team?
Yeah. I think I'm hoping there's someone sensible in their ear, and the obvious thing for me is to do the whole season with Malaga for their development. They both play and then if they're good enough, they'll jump up a level, and sort of, I guess if he keeps going the way he's going, I would have no problem with him going in next summer if he keeps going as he is. You can't blame him. But
it happens in football. By the sounds from all the things what you read, his father seems a very pivotal point in his career and his life. The people around him, his new agent seems very much like he wants him to sign with Malaga. They're just effectively waiting for the right deal, I think. And I'm not being funny, like we've just said, he's our number one player at the moment. They've got to be putting something together, because come January, if he's still available, somebody's going to snatch him for now.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that was do you know what I was thinking as well when I was looking at our results so far? I know at the start of last year we were sort of raving about our new league, Primera Federación, and saying how much fun it'd been and the lack of VAR and things like that. But actually, if you look at the games we've played so far in the Segunda, it's been great, hasn't it? Actually,
it's been fantastic.
The only real sort of dull one, I guess, was the 0-0 with Cordoba. But
Cordoba, 100% Cordoba. I mean, when you look at, I know we're going to talk about this in future, obviously, Matt, but our next 5 games are very big games. Elche at home, Depor away, Cadiz away, Real Oviedo at home, Tenerife away, and then Eibar. So we've just got to keep riding this positivity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got us a bit of momentum, and like you said, the real tests are to come, I guess. And actually, if I remember rightly, after that Eibar game, we've got Levante as well.
We certainly have. We certainly have. One other thing, Matt, I think you half alluded to it earlier, but somebody lost their job this weekend.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we should say that Gila Abascal did lose his job at the end of this. I think pretty much right after the game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which if you remember, we actually text saying this.
Yeah, and actually, Aidan that was on the show last week did message me the next morning, sort of saying thanks. I think he was responding to a video I shared of Alfonso Herrero's penalty save, and he said thank you because he got rid of him. So I don't think there were too many tears about him going. It'll be interesting to see who they get in. I believe they were linked with Pacheta, who they tried to get in the summer, I think, and I think he turned them down. I don't know why, but he's got a good record in Segunda. I think he's the guy that got Elche up, if I remember. He certainly managed Elche.
I dare say they're going to be better off than they were. It's a big club. They've got a decent budget, I believe. Still, they've still got a lot of players.
Good team.
It's an attractive job.
Yeah, and as I've said before, nice city to live in.
Free tapas, is it?
Yeah, free tapas. Yeah, that's the one. It's that's my favorite thing. Saudi Alhambra beer. It's all about the free tapas. But yeah, that's it for that game. We'll obviously be back on later in the week with a preview show ahead of our game against Elche. Is there anything else I need to mention? As usually I sort of go to the end. I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention this, but
I think you've covered it all, Matt. I think we've done it well.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. So we got Elche coming up, but that was the Granada game. Hopefully we continue this good form on the weekend when Luke Chambers will be joining us on the Costa del Sol and inside La Rosaleda. So I look forward to seeing you then, Luke. I may see you on a podcast later in the week. I don't know. We don't know what the starting lineup is for the preview podcast. We'll work on that. But thank you for joining me, Luke.
Thank you very much, mate. The night shift is calling for me, unfortunately, but it's been a pleasure to be here. Vamos, Malaga.
Lovely stuff. And thank you guys, for joining us always, whether that's through the podcast or on YouTube. Tell your friends about this. We'll see you soon. I'm going to get the outro ready because Nick's not here to do it. Adios. Vamos, Malaga.